Is our government just one big Jeffrey Epstein after party? That's the topic of today. That's not my original thought. It's a post I saw on Threads, and then a lot of people have been reposting similar versions of that. But let's talk about it. Vanessa?
On Friday, a large portion of the Epstein files were released, and I really feel like it is taking the entire world by storm in the worst way possible. God, I don't know how to talk about this. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
know. And I
where
think
do
that's
I
super
start?
real. I think that's super real for our audience to hear. You can't be snarky. You honestly can't be angry. I mean, like my anger, it's mostly anger right now. I will say, just to keep it real, it's anger because I keep thinking of the girls, the children. They are the center of the story. They are the ones who survived in some shape or form, the ones who were are no longer with us for other reasons that you can explore in these files and what people are saying, what family members are saying. But the tragedy are all these lives, and every life is a universe with an ecosystem that surrounds them. These are young people who the life was taken out of them in some way, right? At a time where they were at a crossroads in their lives, they were manipulated, they were abused, they were tortured both physically and emotionally by a cabal of really rich people who have all the power in our country right now and did back then as well. And that is the center of the story. And it's not political. It's not a political story. I mean, it is because they're in politics. What this is a story about human rights. This is a story about, do you really care about children? Do you really care about humanity? You need to put your politics aside. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. I don't care.
We on Politixic Podcast believe that whoever is in these files, I don't care what political party or affiliation they are under, everyone needs to be held accountable for these crimes. I think the reaction that we're seeing online, first of all, as a collective human experience, we are not supposed to see CSM materials, let alone come to the realization that all the companies that we spend our money at, that all of these branches of government are involved, that the people that own the social media platforms that are silencing this information from getting out to the public are in charge of how we communicate and how broad of a scale this is, let alone the levels of international crime and collusion from other really dangerous people. It's just a lot for everyone to process. And
Yeah.
I don't know where we go as a society from this, because these people are in charge of our government. And,
Mhm.
I threaded this yesterday, but I think it's absolutely insane that we need to wait till the midterms
I know.
to remove someone from office with all of this evidence and the felony convictions that he already has. I just don't understand where we go as a society from here.
I don't either. And what's crazy about it is that I teach US history. Kids come to me with conspiracy theories they hear about online all the time, and the majority of them are not true, right? What we're finding though is that there are some that are actually true, but just not exactly how it's been spread. And if you look at this latest release of files, there is talk about pizza and burgers. But it's just not the people that QAnon said it was about. And what we find here is that allegedly, because I'm going to use the word allegedly to protect us, allegedly JE and others were in conversation with one Christopher or Chris Poole, who ran the now defunct 4chan. 4chan is where the QAnon conspiracy theory was released and then spread like wildfire, impacting electoral politics in America, the 2016 election up until the January 6, 2021 storming of the Capitol insurrection that came this close to derailing our entire democracy based on conspiracy and lies that the sitting president was not just, winking at, but cozying up to, allegedly, 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 right?
We've been hearing for years about QAnon and Pizzagate and the pedophile cabal, and it is very real. It's very real. But I think this is a lesson for us also to go back and look at all of the things that Donald Trump has said, because I sincerely believe everything that they project and are blaming Democrats for is what they have actually done, allegedly. I really
Allegedly.
think we need to go back and look on his golf courses and some of the other things that are listed in these Epstein files, and there I think this goes so much deeper than even we're seeing yet.
I know.
So,
And I wanna take, looking at it from a feminist lens, which I think is just like a human lens. They're so obsessed with attacking white liberal women. So much of their 2024 campaign was, uh, going after childless cat ladies, right? So much of their rhetoric and policy now is about promoting trad wife marriages. You posted something this week that they wanna round up all the unmarried people, which sounds insane, but it actually is a headline and based in something that they're tossing
heritage
around.
studies.
And I saw a great post connecting all of this to the role of the patriarchy in making it easier or enabling, one could argue, this abuse of children, young women, and possibly boys, allegedly. Because here's the thing, they attack public school teachers because a lot of public school teachers are white liberal women, calling us indoctrinators, calling us groomers. Well, let's just talk about this for a second. We're on the front lines protecting young people from potentially lecherous family members and adults and JEs out there. We're mandated reporters. If you don't have the teacher to talk to, or the guidance counselor, or the counselor, social worker, and you don't have parents you can trust, and then you go to your pastor, the church is controlled by this Christo-fascist regime, there's nowhere else to turn. What's a threat to them are these networks beyond their families, beyond their churches, beyond their religious institutions, to help them get out of these situations. It's no wonder that they attack all of that, right? Because the patriarchy protects them against forces that can actually save the children, right?
Yeah. You and I were having a conversation earlier this morning before we recorded, and the patriarchy, you said this brilliantly. The patriarchy was built and this idea of the nuclear family, and it is 100% meant to isolate women and children from community, from other women who might be like, hey, that's not okay, or do you need some help, or you should leave your husband, things like that. This entire system was built to entrap women and children into this.
Potentially dangerous, life ending situations.
Absolutely.
Up until recent history, we have been separated from one another. Women, I'm talking about, right? The modern technology has, yes, helped spread all these QAnon conspiracy theories but it also is connecting women and girls and older women and multi generations of women talking about the patriarchy, talking about things like decentering men, right?
Talking about their own sexual assaults and leaving marriages that have domestic violence. It's the internet connects all of us to each other, and it's giving women a way out, and that's why we're seeing all of this liberal white women are the problem content and rhetoric coming out from the right. But I think also, like, kind of something that I'm struggling with today is you hear MAGA and the right wing and Christians always talking about protecting the children, and we can't have abortion to protect the lives of children. And the way that at least they're responding in my comments online, continuing to defend this man, I don't know how we as a society reform this. I don't ever want to cross the aisle with people that believe this or that would support this person after knowing everything that we know, because at this point, we cannot say, I haven't read them. I don't know what's going on. There is enough information out there. You are choosing to turn your eyes away from this, and this is a cult. If child torture and rape is not the line for members of government, judges, and your next door neighbor, I don't know how we as a society cross the aisle and figure
No.
out how to live cohesively with these people. I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. And we're just specifically focusing on this Epstein release, right? But also this week, I don't know how you cross the line with people who continue to support this secret police that we call ICE that is attacking our neighbors. I like using the term neighbor, our neighbors in their homes, in their places of worship, in their schools, on the street.
Something that is really bothering me in the last 24 hours, knowing what we know about the Epstein files, is we have a criminal sitting in the White House with a secret police of people who are unchecked and masked that are kidnapping children and women. And while we see a lot of footage from these detention centers, we're seeing images of men, we're seeing video footage evidence of the male concentration camps that they are erecting, but we don't know where the women and children are. And the Epstein files makes me think that we need to be a lot louder and start
Uh-huh.
looking a lot further and finding out where these women and children are because I sincerely believe that they are being trafficked.
Yeah, and I think that's where we end, right? And that's our ask of the people who listen to our podcast, watch our podcast, follow us. We don't have the answers, and we're not doing the just asking questions like Tucker Carlson. Like, we are legitimately asking the people who follow us, the journalists, the citizen journalists, the people who've downloaded those files. You know, there's so many heroes in this story as well who are just volunteering their time uncovering this stuff. I think we need to put some of that effort as well into figuring out, tracking where the women are going and the children. Liam and his dad were returned home. That's because of the vigilance of we the people. Um, I also want to know, where are the women and children and girls?
Sounds crazy to be saying this, but what we are finding in reading these court documents from the Epstein files is that life is, in fact, more terrorizing than any fiction we could have imagined.